dream many years ago to live life away from it all, to have some sheep, maybe a cow or two, with cats and dogs and goats and an occasional moon. With our love for God, we can't go wrong. Our love can only continue to grow strong. Doesn't matter the difficult roads, it's true, for we have each other and love will carry us through. We came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fair to do.
Say hi. Hi. Wave.
We came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared.
I'm glad.
Came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared.
Put the pod in the tent with me in the pit. And the feed. I'm at it again. Hi. That
Hi.
big old steer was my steer, Jackson Brown. I raised him from just a little pup, 5 days old. And he was a character. He loved me so much. He gave me cow kisses all the time. So,
Aw, I didn't know
but
they did that.
yeah, they do. They will. If you teach them that. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I just want to say welcome. We had some technical difficulties. My laptop, for some reason, froze up. And so we're a little late getting started. But that's okay. I want to go through the chat and acknowledge everybody in mine. And then I'll have Gail do hers as well. Or, well, I can do it on this one. Welcome, Jan. We're thankful you're here. I know you're tired and going to be listening. We have Tammy and Penny and Jules, just Jules 123. Welcome in. Blackberry Homestead, welcome in. Let's see. Dana B. We have Bushcraft Family, Ziggy. And let's see here. I saw somebody else. Angie, our cabin in the woods. Welcome, Angie. Dana. And if I missed somebody, I'm so sorry. Bushcraft Family's here. Do you see anybody else that I missed?
Hello, Adrian. I know the ones have a little sign. Hello, Ann Philibeck. And Lori with It All Adds Up. Bob from Robin Hood Homestead.
Oh, hi, Bob. How are you all doing?
Grammy Karen.
Hi, Grammy Karen.
Echo with Living My Best Life at 60.
Hi, Echo.
And I think that's all I see. Oh, and Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hello, welcome in.
Welcome. Well, I hope you can see okay because I'm having to use my phone, as I said, but hopefully it won't be an issue and you can hear and see us just fine. And so a little technical difficulty, but that's okay. So tonight we're honored to have Gail, and I'm really excited to have her. She is from Gail's Southern Living. And if you haven't checked out her channel, be sure to check it out. I know most of you have, and most of you know her. But if you haven't, go check her out, please. And I'm going to ask her how her channel came about to start with. Hi, Rudy.
So I was working at the school. I was a paraprofessional working with special needs children. And I got an injury. I did that for 3 years. I got an injury that took me out, and I left about 3/4 of the way through the third school year. So I had to stay home and I had to heal my neck. And I just started trying to, go on a journey about religion. Of course, I went through that stage. And getting closer to God. And then I also was trying to get healthy and trying to heal kind of a broken heart because I was kind of being bullied at this job as well. So I was kind of trying to build my confidence back up after being kind of knocked down,
Yeah.
And so I just started watching YouTube videos, and I was watching a lot of Homestead Tessie and a lot of prepping channels and stuff like that. Started following some homesteaders. And after watching Homestead Tessie for a while, I said, you know what? I think I could do that. Like, she's not perfect. She's not an actress. She makes mistakes. She probably is more polished now. But when I was watching her, there was still a little bit of flubs here and there, right? And so I said, you know what? If she can do this, maybe I can do this too. And so it's definitely like not something anyone would ever picture me to do because I'm kind of shy, kind of more of an introvert. Scares me because she is armed with a drill. Yeah, armed with a drill. That's right. So yeah. Yeah, last year was my first time to use a drill. That's what he's referring to. But there's been a lot of first with YouTube, and using a drill was one of those.
How exciting. I love drills.
It was fun. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I want my own.
Yeah, they're exciting. So when you were growing up, were you raised around animals, raised around homesteading or anything? Is that something that was really new to you?
My mom wanted to live in the city and my dad wanted to live in the country. So we were kind of going back and forth there for a while. They were trying to come to an agreement with that. So we lived a little bit in the city and a little bit in the country. And even when we lived in the city though, we still had like a full garden and a yard. I remember as a teenager, like in junior high, I remember watering the yard for my dad. I would water the trees and the bushes and the plants outside. So I started that at a very young age, liking plants and liking being outside and stuff like that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Did you learn a lot of the like canning and stuff from YouTube, or did you learn it from your parents?
I learned cooking from my mom and gardening from my dad. But my mom, was not a canner. She did sewing, but she never taught it to me.
So did you learn sewing from her when you were young?
No.
No.
She knew it. Well, she had 4 kids. So, she was probably just, just trying to keep afloat, because dad worked and mom stayed at home. My mom did not start working until after I had left home. When she had the two youngest at home, she went to work at Hobby Lobby and was a floral designer. So,
wow.
and she made those big, beautiful Christmas trees that look professionally decorated. That's my mom.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but I don't have that skill.
So, what were some of your favorite memories growing up as a child between the ages of 1 and 10? Things that you did.
Going to the lake, swimming, fishing, working in the garden with my dad, cooking things with my mom. Uh, I had a sister who was a year and a half older. That's the one that passed away, Gretchen. And we were really close, more like friends. And then I had a sister that was 5 years younger, and then a brother that was 9 years younger. So I was the second oldest child. So
do you have a particular do you have a particular story you'd like to tell us of growing up?
Well, we didn't grow up in a rich family. Dad worked and mom stayed at home. So, especially when all four of us kids were there, times were tough. We didn't get all the best things. Later, when the two oldest of us left home, the younger two got a little bit more spoiled. But when we were all four at home, it was just really hard to keep track. But I just remember like my dad going out into nature and cutting down a tree. And then he just did the weirdest things. Like him and my uncle went and were digging through dumpsters and found these boxes that had all these big, beautiful, colorful bows on them. And my mom fluffed them all up and made the tree really pretty. And we had a whole tree that had a outside home, out in nature tree.
Yeah.
Real tree. And my mom put all these beautiful bows all over it. Because remember, she knew how to do all that stuff. And so I just remember that. It was like the weirdest thing, but it was a story about us being poor, but it still gave us just appreciation for things. Like I'm not a diva. I'm not like, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. I'm like really simple and, very pleased with small things, So I've never been like, sounds pretty. Yeah. And then I remember my uncle, the one that passed away, we called him Uncle Sonny. I remember him coming over and he would get like I want to say it was a sock or maybe it was a stocking or a Ziploc bag or something. I don't know. But he had put like an apple, an orange, a banana, some bubble gum and candy and stuff. And he'd bring it over like a stocking, but like man style. You know what I'm saying? And I remember he used to do that every Christmas. And that was a good memory, just, my dad was always, he was stressed out. He was working, he had 4 kids, but he was always happy at Christmas. And my dad was a house painter. So we, like I said, we weren't rich. It was like we had a lot of money and then it'd be a while before he'd get another job. So it was like feast or famine around our house.
Yeah.
And so, but I still like painting to this day. I still like to paint stuff. So you see me every year, I'm painting a bed outside, a garden bed, or painting the bathroom. I mean, all the rooms in this house were painted by me. So, and painted again and painted again.
Painted again and again and again. That's kind of what we do.
Looked yucky and dingy, and I just took everything off and painted it. I actually thought about painting it for an accent since it's always behind me. Some kind of neat color, but so
that's awesome.
One thing I do that's not remotely girly at all. I like to paint. I'm actually the gardener. My husband's not the gardener.
So your dad was the gardener.
My dad was the gardener. Mm-hmm.
And what do you remember gardening with him?
I remember just sitting there watching him. I really wish I had asked more questions. I do remember him saying when I was very little that you always plant marigolds with squash because squash bugs don't like the smell of it. And that's always worked for me. So, yeah, my husband was the Air Force brat. That was my husband. Me, not at all. Yeah, both my parents were at home. I mean, dad worked and mom was at home all day. So,
So, what was school like for you in your elementary school? Do you remember anything in particular?
out of all, out of elementary, junior high, and high school, elementary was the hardest for me. I was really quiet and really shy and very bullied and picked on but by junior high, I kind of got a better sense of myself. I had groups of friends that I talked to and also in high school. So I really, really enjoyed junior high and high school, but elementary school, not so much. All my bad school memories aren't junior high and high school. They're all elementary school.
Really?
At that age, I wasn't old enough to open my mouth and stick up for myself, and I just wasn't very well adjusted. I just didn't know what to do.
What was your favorite things to do with your siblings?
Well, we did have an above ground pool and we liked to swim. Oh, and I remember the last house we lived at, my older sister Gretchen and I, we lived on a creek and we had this huge long backyard. Dad had a garden and there was a little space and then there was a creek right there and there was a paved area right there where the city workers, I think, would drive up and do whatever. I don't know. I never remember seeing them out there, but we used to go lay out there and tan. And one time, and this is like in high school, my older sister Gretchen and I were laying out there tanning and some skunks started coming up. There was multiples. And they were coming from our yard. They were coming from our side of the yard. So we kind of like grabbed our towel and we had to go like through the neighbor's yard. We couldn't go through our yard. And of course, we're like in our bathing suit or whatever, so we probably just put our towel over us. It just ran through the neighbor's yard, but we couldn't go back our way or we would have got bit by this, or not bit, but
yeah,
pinky from the skunks. So that was a funny story. I remember that.
Wow. So when you got into junior high, you kind of overcame your timidness and.
Yeah, I mean, I was still always shy, but I had my small groups of friends that I hung out with and felt comfortable to talk with and joke with and stuff like that. And that's kind of really how I have pretty much stayed for my whole life. Even like on YouTube, you talk to some people on YouTube and they'll say she's really shy or stuck up or aloof or whatever. Other people will be like, oh my gosh, she's a total goof, and it just depends on how closely you know me. Because if I feel comfortable with you, I'll make jokes. If I don't feel comfortable with you, I won't joke. Nor do I want you to joke with me if I don't know you that well.
Yeah.
Like I won't really take your joke very well because I'm like, it comes across insulting when you don't know the person. You're like, oh, if Heather said it, because I know Heather or Lynda or Jan or somebody, you'd be like, oh, that's funny. But if someone said it to me, I didn't know them, it's harder to take the joke because you're like, I don't know how they mean that. Are they trying to be mean? Hi, Kevin. So I've always been a little bit socially kind of awkward, I guess you would say.
I think a lot of us, I mean, believe it or not, I think a lot of us on YouTube are that way. And I just think we're drawn to each other because of that.
Mm-hmm.
My granddaughter and I were having a conversation about, a lot of YouTubers are YouTubers because of that very reason and because they're more introverts and don't socialize a lot outside of YouTube.
I can talk. I can talk on here, and I can't see how many people are in this chat right now. I have no clue because
Mhm.
it's on yours. But anyway, I could talk in front of 20 or 50 people on here. But if you stood 20 or 50 people right in front of me in real life, yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
not be comfortable at all. And as a matter of fact, sometimes when we're on these really big chats where there's a lot of people, like a big giveaway, and there's like 100 people, as a matter of fact, I think it was your giveaway, I got really nervous because there was like, they kept saying 100 people, 110 people, or whatever. Like, and the more they say that, the more nervous I would get, and I would clam up, and the face turns to a different thing because it's like terror and terrified, because you get nervous. You don't know the people that are out there, whereas when it's my crowd and my live and my people, I'm calm. But with other people's groups, sometimes it's harder for me.
What do you think your channel would have been like had you started your channel in high school?
Uh, Probably more awkward and more slow growing because I wasn't quite comfortable with myself yet at that time. I think the older I got, the more I made jokes and, the more I accepted myself and, I was just more like I'm still awkward in certain circumstances, but the older I get, the better that seems to get for me.
And I think it does. I think as you age, as people age, you get to a point where it's not that it's so much easier, it's that your level of caring for that
Yeah,
probably
you're like
drops a lot.
you're like
Yeah,
if they don't care about me, they don't like me as a person, like how's that really going to hurt my feelings if I don't even really know them that well?
exactly, exactly.
Whereas if it was someone in your group and they, like at that school, all the people that bullied me there was the one girl who went to church with me who participated in this bullying. And that one hurt me the worst because I thought she was my friend. So that was really, really hard blow. And I
Yeah.
do still see this person, and I've prayed time and time again for healing. Can you
Wow.
bring up Lori's comment? I want to see what she said. In
Lynn.
all, it's kind of hard for you to read. It's so tiny. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I can't read them on my phone right now. I can barely see them. I can see them better on this other phone, but can you see it? So, oh, I see it on the TV. I'm on YouTube because I live by a bunch of rich people. I've been told every neighborhood needs a token. Blind racists suck. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I try to love people the way they are. I don't care about how big your channel
yeah,
is or the color of your skin or if you have a different, politics thing or whatever. I try to love
yeah,
everybody right where they are because in my eyes we were all made by God. We all bleed red, we all have feelings, we all care even if we don't act like we do. Like the meanest person in the world is actually hurting the most.
exactly, exactly, and that's so true. And often they're just trying to compensate for their self-loathing by making other people loathe them even more, and it's really sad, but that's usually what's happening. And so, I just look at it like this. When I was growing up, I could not understand why people wouldn't like me. Because I'd tell my mom I was nice to everybody.
Yeah.
you know,
I
and I
don't
thought I
ground
could
us.
not understand why
Yeah.
somebody wouldn't like me. And I agree with you, Gail. I don't care about anybody's anybody's financial status, their color of their skin, obviously, because I'm, in a mixed marriage, and whether they'd have 1 million YouTube subscribers, because realistically, God made us all equal, like you said, and we're no different. And He doesn't love me any more than He loves anybody down the street, and He doesn't love you any more than He loves anybody down the street.
Exactly.
And when you really come to understand that, and how important every single person is out there to God, then you have a different view of things, and you realize it's not about religion, it's not about politics or money or skin color or anything else. It's about loving your neighbor. And loving your neighbor is everyone you encounter that day, every day of your life. And so when you start to think that way all the time, then you just kind of don't care if people don't like you anymore, because there's going to be some that just don't like you.
Yeah, I worked at a medical facility, and I was a receptionist there, and I was at a desk, and there was other people in the desk, and there was a really nice older lady there, and she was probably older than all of us, and she had, I guess, her and her husband had money, and they were really sweet people, and she was so kind. And she brought us these little gifts for holidays, and every Friday she would bring us donuts and kolaches from the store, and she did that all the time. She was always sweet and generous and loving, and she had money, and people were mean to her because she had money. Well, being mean to someone because they're rich is just the same as being mean to someone because they're poor, or because they're ugly, or because they're fat, or they're too skinny, or they wear glasses, or they have freckles, or they have some kind of flaws that you can see. Beauty is within, so outward beauty is just, outward beauty is nothing. It means nothing.
It doesn't. It really doesn't mean nothing. And I mean, you can look you can look on TV and see a lot of outwardly
it's fake.
beautiful people, but they're really ugly inside.
If you see what they really look like without their makeup and their hair done and their great outfit, they probably look just like all of us, guys.
They probably do.
They look just like us. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I just remember one thing my grandma said to me. She goes, Lynda, and she's long been passed away, but she said, Lynda, one thing you have to remember is that you never know what kind of day the person you meet has had. So always put a smile on your face, because whether you meet that person for a second or for 10 minutes or 24 hours, you're always going to create an impression. And an impression on everybody is, it's like you're always going to push against, and it's going to leave an impression. Like if you're pushing against silly putty, or you're pushing against clay, and you'll always leave an impression on every single person. And when I was in school, I always remembered that. I had the hardest time wondering why people were mean to me, but I still remembered that. And
they were more than all my life jealous that you were prettier, richer, sweeter.
I wasn't rich.
I mean, well, any of those things. It could be anything. Like
I don't think I was pretty.
My younger sister is beautiful, and time and time again, trouble with jobs. And I'd be on the phone with her, and I'd be like, you're beautiful, you're skinny, you're young. This was 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're jealous of your beauty. You have to think about that. Not every, they're in it. And I have to give her that pep talk over and over again, because every job she'd go to, same thing over and over again. I was like, oh man, girl, you have no idea how beautiful.
I did the same thing.
I got a GED, so I didn't get beat up. Yeah.
And then I ended up with 2 college degrees, 3 college
I
degrees.
actually got a GED too. Yeah, I got a GED too, and then I went back and
No
took
shame in
college
it. Not at all.
courses
Hi,
later.
Robin. Yeah. So no shame in that. And you look at your life and you really look back and you think about all those things and how important were they really?
They weren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not going to remember it in 5 years, wasn't important.
So tell us about some of the things you did in high school
Well,
that had a lasting, stuck in your mind.
I had a best friend, and her name was Phaedra, and she was probably a good 4 or 5 inches taller than me, but we had pretty similar facial features. I had blonde hair, she had blonde hair, but our facial features were very similar. So in high school, we told everybody we were cousins, but we weren't. We were just friends. Yeah.
Hi, Adrian.
And still to this day, if I happen to see someone, they'll be like, "Oh, how's your cousin Phaedra?" And I just want to laugh because it's so many years ago, and it was just like, I don't know, just a thing we came up with. But I mean, in my group, I had Phaedra, who was wealthy and rich and lived in a very nice house, and she was my friend. I had a friend, Jennifer, who was not wealthy at all and didn't have the best of everything and lived in a very modest house. And then I had a friend that was kind of in the middle of all that, and she was like a military kid or whatever. So I had friends of all kinds. I hung out with ropers and stoners and all kinds of people. We were just talking about that today. I actually hung out with the ropers and the stoners, and I was somewhere like in the middle of all that. So that was my little offbeat crowd there.
Yeah.
That's what they called them back then. Ropers and stoners. So,
Ropers and stoners.
yeah, that was my people. My people.
Yeah. I hung out with a few stoners too.
Yeah, that was my crowd.
And ropers. Yeah. Yeah. What was your favorite classes that you had in school that were important to you, and why were they important to you?
Oh, this sounds really, really silly, but and these young people aren't even going to understand what I'm talking about, but they had a typing class. And I loved my typing class. It was like my favorite class. I loved going in there and learning how to type. And then I'd come home and my dad would be like, "Hey, I need you to type up this bid for me." And I thought I was so big and important because he let me do that. And I had these 2 boys behind me, Gary and Johnny, the roper and the stoner back here, And they were constantly flirting with me all the time, asking me if I have candy or cigarettes. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." And then I had a boyfriend, but they were just constantly over here. And I was like, you're messing with me in my favorite class, and you're distracting me. And I'm trying to learn to type, I thought I was so important, but still, after all this time, I still can put my hands on home row and type like that, So it is a skill that not everybody has these days.
That's true. It's true. Very true.
Yeah, and that sounds very silly, but at that I wanted to do something in an office. I wanted to be some kind of receptionist or secretary, and I did all of that. I was a receptionist, I was a secretary, I did medical coding and billing, I was an office manager, I stocked groceries at Walmart, I was a paraprofessional.
Wow.
I've done everything. I'm a jack of all trades.
I'm not trying to move around and interrupt you, but it's like 90 degrees in this room, and I'm really, really hot. So I'm taking my socks off because
yeah, cool.
I had 2 pair of wool socks on.
Oh, well, yeah.
For feeding the animals.
Yeah. I see how much you bundle up when you go outside.
Oh yeah, yeah. I freeze and I
I
don't
don't
get
know if
warm
that's
afterwards.
surprising to you guys, but that was my crowd that I hung out with because I wasn't wealthy. So that was the crowd where they accepted me and I fit in.
Wow, that's really neat though.
Mhm.
That's really neat. So, what were your favorite holidays when you were a kid growing up?
It was always Christmas because, like I say, my dad could be very stressy, but on the holidays, on Christmas, he was always in a good mood. So, and he always wanted to open Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day. So my dad, I know when we were older, he would he would say, "Hey, let's go look at the Christmas lights," and then he'd be like, "Hey, hey Jan, would you go in there?" Which is my mom's name. Would you go in there? I forgot my wallet or whatever. They'd make something up, and mom would go in there and set up the Christmas. So when we come back, then I started to see Jesus. Santa had come to the house. Now, when I was older, I knew what they were doing. Now, when I was little, I didn't quite get it, but that's what their process was when we were little. And as we got older, we just did it on Christmas Eve, but
Yeah.
yeah, we had
So,
those
let's
traditions.
take a break here and say hi to some of those in the chat. Do you want to go ahead? Can you see them?
High Country Homestead, hello. I didn't see that one
Welcome in.
earlier. Dana B. Echo's still in here.
We have Big Country
Big family
High Country
exhibition.
Homestead.
Welcome in.
Yep. Welcome in, everybody. So if we
Yeah.
miss somebody, please forgive us because we're doing this from a phone tonight. Because
Oh
my
yeah, here's a funny story.
computer.
When I was younger, my mom and dad, they brought us up in church, and they didn't believe in Halloween,
Mhm.
so they never let us do any of that stuff. So I decided to move out at 17, and I moved in with my older sister Gretchen. And I had a friend Tammy, and we were still very young looking because we were in high school. And so Tammy and I went around and we dressed up like Madonna or something like that, some kind of 80s thing, Madonna or Cyndi Lauper, something crazy. And then we went around and went trick or treating because with me, my parents never ever let me do that. So I just wanted to see what it was like.
How fun.
Like that was my rebellion.
That was your rebellion.
That was my rebellion. Yeah, walking around the neighborhood trick or treating at 17.
So you never got in, you never were a bad kid?
I was a really good kid. However, my older sister Gretchen was not. So she liked to drag me along. And of course, I had a hard time saying no to my big sister. So sometimes she would drag me into her messes. So I would get in trouble by just tagging along, basically. Yeah. So
Wow. Um, I was going to ask you. So, what were your grades like when you were growing up?
uh I would say it was probably, it was just all over the place, very inconsistent, like literally A's to D's, and it just depended on the subject. Like I got like A's and B's in English because I was always good with that. And like science and history, I did okay. History, I did okay because I could memorize things for a test. But things like math, it would be more like a C or D. I was never, ever, ever good at math. So that was not my subject.
Do you
Yeah.
like math now?
No.
It's so funny because I did terrible with math.
I'm okay with basic math. I just don't like when they start mixing letters and numbers. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
It's
And
either letters or it's numbers. We're not mixing the two together.
I was older
Oh,
when I learned how to do that right, and I ended up loving letters and numbers. I mean, to me, it ended up becoming like a puzzle, and so I'm really good with puzzles, and I like that.
I'm good with basic math, adding, subtracting, dividing, fractions, decimals,
Yeah.
basic math. Just don't start mixing letters and numbers and asking me how those work, because that my brain never literally I would go to a tutorial, I would think I had it, I would get all my, and then they would move to another subject. So it's just like it didn't really go slow enough for me. Like I really needed to be in a special needs class for that. And I think they did like move me back a little bit
Hmm.
on that. And it's so weird because English was the complete opposite. So my grades were all over the place, just like my life now, very inconsistent. I'm exceeding at one thing and totally screwing up something else. That's just how I am. I'm one extreme or the other on everything.
Yeah, some people love math, some people hate math. And I just didn't get it when I was young, but when I got older, I really got it. I like it. But I do a lot of things that require math. So I think that probably changed my opinion about it. So,
Yeah.
um, how do you think your childhood has influenced your YouTube channel?
I think that I want to help people. Um, I don't want to leave people behind. I want to help them. Like I want to mentor people and help people. I don't want to just like fly off into never land and leave my friends behind. I want to try to help others to grow too. Like I want to answer questions and be forthcoming with what I know to help other people that are my friends to do better,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
why I put out a video to try to offer mentorship. And I did have a couple of people contact me on that. And I like doing that. I like helping
And I
people.
saw that and I thought that was so sweet. That's really
Yeah.
sweet.
And I've been doing that. And there's multiple people on YouTube. And I don't say their names because, you know, they get a
Hmm.
little embarrassed and they don't really want people to know they need help. So that's okay with me. So some of the people you guys talk to every day are some people that I've actually mentored who have blown
And
up.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give, if it wasn't for Gail and Jan initially, I I I did not know how YouTube worked today. I had no clue. I had no clue how to do StreamYard. I had no clue on how these things work. And I'm telling you, if you need help, hi Mickey, if you need help, make sure you contact Gail or talk to somebody that's been on here because I had a YouTube channel, but then I didn't do anything for a long time and for many years, and it had all changed. It had all
Yeah.
changed. And
If I don't know how to do it, I'll ask somebody who knows how to do it. Like if I don't know how to do it, I
I
know
Tony,
Bushcraft Family can do it, or Trey from the Vineyard Chicks can do
yeah.
it, or Adrian from Indiana Backyard Gardener can do it, or Kathleen from My Alabama Farm. Like I know who knows each little niche of the
Yeah.
stuff, even if
And
I personally know how to
and
do
it
it.
can be really scary because, I know
That's
initially,
why.
um, I reached out to a couple of the bigger channels, just not even realizing, not knowing that they were going to think I was nuts, you know, just for some help. And it's
Yeah,
like, I mean, bless your heart and bless Jan's heart, because these two women are incredible women. And I want to thank you because you really, really helped me through those things that I had no clue about.
yeah. And there's still a lot of things I don't know, but I'm willing to teach people the pieces that I do know. And a lot of times I just kind of fiddle and figure things out. And sometimes I screw things up along the way. But like when I'm explaining something, I was actually surprised. Somebody called me the other day, like, how do you set up a playlist? I knew you would know, but I just could not figure it out. But I knew you would know how to do it. And I was like, wow, I can't believe you're asking me that. I think you would know, but they didn't know. So I was like, okay. And I went over to the computer and it's easier for me to explain it while I'm doing it. So I went on the computer and just explained how to do it. And they're like, okay, cool. So.
Yeah. And all of you that have, because Gail always told me, she told me, do lives, do lives, do lives, do lives, do lives. And I was so scared to do a live. And then I started doing these, like, just watch.
It's so much easier
watch the air live.
It's so much easier with a friend. If you're going to do it and be there, then it's easier to do with your friend. But yeah, the way you're doing the goats and the chickens and
the hours are way more important early on than subscribers. And I'm grateful for all my subscribers but a popular short now and then, that gets 100,000 views or something, it doesn't give you watch hours. And Gail had the perfect plan for watch hours. Do those lives, do lives, do lives, do lives. And because you can sit for 5 years and never get monetized if you're not doing lives. 10 years even, I'm sure.
I don't know how anybody gets monetized without doing lives. I don't know. I know it's possible, but some people make really long videos. Now, I know I'm supposed to make it 8 minutes or longer, and I try really hard with that. But I also try to shorten it because I know people have a short attention span. I try not to make stuff too long. So that's just me, because I don't feel like anyone, unless it's my husband building something and it takes a while, I try to speed it up a little bit. So, but I'm having a little trouble with my music these days.
Yeah.
Everything keeps getting hit copyright. It's driving me insane.
Yeah, I that was from which editor are you using?
Video Guru.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. But I haven't had any problems with Epidemic Sound, but I used to have problems with a couple of the other video editors that I'd use. And even the one InShot, if I use their music, there's always a copyright. So I
have a video I need to add. I have 2 videos I need to add music to, and I'm literally going to have to go on YouTube to do those videos to use their music, which I'm not real accustomed to. I pretty much do everything on my phone, but I'm going to actually, it's going to take me a little while to get those videos out because I'm going to have to go in and use YouTube music because both of them need music. One of them is a fishing video, so it needs to be sped up and added to music. One of them, it just needs some music like toward the end of it.
I have some. I used to use YouTube music all the time for back in 2008.
Yeah.
And I can't have any of those videos set as public because they're all copyright strikes now, or copyright claims.
And
from the old YouTube. It was old YouTube music. Yeah.
It was old music.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it was old, several years old. So, but I think that can happen with any music that you use somewhere down the future, years down,
as it is now. But all of a sudden now it's more picky. I don't know what happened, but
yeah. So you just never know. But yeah. So if you need help, be sure to contact Gail because she can help you get monetized, help your channel grow. She's really good at that. So, and I really appreciate her and thank her for that. Tony said he uses Filmora. Yeah, I've used Filmora before. I think I have that on my computer. Yeah, a lot of the music, they do change their licensing on.
Yeah, because it seemed like the music I used to use on Video Guru didn't used to hit, but now it's all hitting. And I'm like, I got to where I almost can't do anything with music anymore, except for just that one little piece.
Yeah, and I think that's even going to happen with some of the AI music, and it's kind of scary because
Wish I had a guitar. I'd just strum out my own music and call it a day, you know.
yeah,
Maybe I could just make up my own songs and sing them myself, you know. I don't know, because
yeah,
I'd probably try to find some way to copyright my own voice.
that happened. That happened to I think it was Keeping It Dutch. He had somebody had written him a song, and then it was an intro song. I believe it was his channel, but I'm not 100% sure. But they'd written him an intro song, and after about 5 months, somebody was trying to sue, saying that
Yes.
the intro song had parts of his song in it. So, yeah, I mean, you just never know. I
Wow,
go
that's
to the music
crazy.
channel and ask, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. And ask for the
Yeah,
rights to
I
use it.
I have done that before. But the person never actually contacted me back. Like there, I found a song. I heard someone say that, found a song, and I emailed that person and asked them, and I never got a response. So I did try that one time. Maybe I just didn't try enough of them, you know. But
Yeah.
that one particular person did not answer.
So let me know, let everyone know, how do you see your channel progressing in the future? What would you like it to turn into? What would you like to fine tune? What would you like to, whatever? If anything, I mean, if anything, or have you have you thought of it?
Um, Sometimes, I wish I was better with editing, and I wish I was better with thumbnails, and I wish I was better with this and that. And sometimes I'm just okay with myself the way I am. You know what I mean? This is me. Love me, don't love me. A lot of the reason I'm on here, well, okay, full disclosure, YouTube income is my spending money. Okay. I don't need it to pay bills. I have it just for spending money. That's all it's for. Hubby pays bills and it's my spending money. And as you know, it's not a lot. Okay. But
You can't spend a lot.
a lot of the reason I'm on here is for friendship, for spending money, for friendship. I'm not saying no, I don't want money. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it is spending money for me. It's not income for paying bills. So full disclosure on that, because people will get all mad. You're like, you just want the money. No, I don't just want the money. I really want to just make friends and learn new things, because I have tried. I made grape jelly. I used a drill. I drove the tractor. I did all these things because of YouTube. I went from in-ground gardening to raised bed gardening to container gardening. I learned how to amend my soil. I learned about biochar. I mean, 50 million things. I learned about sourdough. I've learned about herbs. I've learned so many things from YouTube. It's literally where I go and learn. Like if I want to learn something now, I just look up a YouTube video.
Yeah.
My sister's like, oh, get this and this and this subscription for exercise. I'm like, oh, I could just go to YouTube, and get it for free. And
It's amazing, isn't it? It's really amazing that you can
exactly what you want in there, and it'll tell you. I want to stand up exercise.
exactly. Can
Minutes,
you imagine?
boom.
Can you even imagine that can you even imagine that um
Yeah.
you learning everything that we've learned on YouTube, learning that in school?
That would have been nice. Yeah.
because we never learned anywhere close to what we've learned on YouTube.
Yeah. They didn't even
Hi,
have
Langley's.
home ec when I was in school. Now, when my mom was in school, they still had home ec. They
Yeah,
didn't have home ec when I was in school, so you couldn't even learn basic cooking skills. But
yeah.
I got to learn that part from my mother. When I left home, I could cook about 10 things. And this includes tuna salad, okay? We're just gonna This includes tuna salad, spaghetti. We're not talking big major things. I remember when I was young, I called my mom, and this is when I had my first apartment by myself. I called my mom and I said, "How do you make a baked potato?" I don't know. Like, this thing is huge. How am I going to cook this? And this is really
Hi,
like,
Katie's kitchen.
well, I don't know if I had a microwave then, but I wanted to learn how to cook it in the oven. So, and now I would wash it real good. I would put foil on it. I would poke some holes on it and stick it in the oven. That's what I would do now. But back then, I had no clue what to do with that thing. I'm like, what do I do with this?
I got to tell you a funny story. Okay, me and my girlfriend, we used to skip school. Not that I skipped all the time, okay, but we'd skip school, and we'd always go to this one boy's house. His mom was a banker, and we'd go hang out at his house during the day and make baked potatoes. We did that so many times. Baked potato, baked potato. Let's make some potatoes.
That's funny. Yeah. It's funny the stuff you don't know for a long time, and then
Yeah.
finally you just learn. Like, I remember who I learned how to make mashed potatoes from, and then I adapted that and changed it a little bit. And I just remember like where I learned all the stuff. And I lived in Texas. I also lived in Rhode Island for a while. I lived in Oklahoma for a while and then came back to Texas. So I've also lived up north. So that's kind of surprising. People don't expect that from me. So
Yeah.
I got to learn a little bit about how they cook things there. And I have some recipes that I learned just from living in Rhode Island.
And you don't have an accent. I can't hear an accent. I don't know. But
Texas
I don't know.
accent.
Huh?
What about Dixie G? Does she have an accent?
If you haven't seen Gail's 3 Can Shy, hashtag 3 Can Shy video, you need to go over there and watch it. It's hilarious. So you need to check out all the hashtag 3Can Shy hosted by Simply Jen Homestead and Butler Family Farm. They're hilarious if you haven't seen them. I have a couple of videos on there, and Gail and Heather, and there's several of them on there. Jerry's got two now or something. Jan's got a couple, and they're
Couple.
not really, huh?
Hi, the NDT show. I was
Oh,
saying,
hi. How are you?
dude, what's not funny, Lori? What's not funny? Oh, baked potato talk, maybe.
I don't know.
Trying to figure out what she thinks isn't funny.
Yeah, Heather
What
has
do you
one,
think, Lori?
but you've got to check them out. Check out Heather's too. It's hilarious. I mean, just check them all out.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
Miss
there's a
Heather.
playlist over there.
Yes.
Oh, there
Heather
was
and Jan, Cindy Lou, Dixie Jean,
yeah,
Bob, Loose Faucet,
yeah, loose
uh,
faucet.
Meemaw.
Yeah, there's some funny ones.
Yeah, there are.
And so be sure to check those out. I want to thank Gail for coming on. I wanted to spend a few minutes just talking about the current collaborations that are going on. Since I have Gail on here, she remembers those so well.
I'll try.
And I know there's the hashtag 3 Cans Shy.
Hosted by Simply Jan Homestead and Butler Family
And Butler
Farm.
Family Farm. So if you want to
That
be
runs
part of that, just go
end
ahead.
of February. And
Yeah.
it's like your comedy, your humor, your
alter ego, or
ego
your,
sorts.
a character or something.
There's like a couple weeks left on that collaboration. I'm trying to think if there's any more open collaborations. Hashtag HGW, which is Healthy Goals Wednesday. You could put out a recipe, exercises, tips about health things, encouragement for those on this journey, or if you've gone through this journey and you have some pointers for people.
Yeah.
You could put out a video on a Wednesday, or you could put it out on a Tuesday or Thursday. It doesn't really matter. Just use HDW and tag my channel and Milk and Honey Heritage Farms, or either or, and we'll throw you in the playlist.
And then there's the emergency.
Emergency is I would call it more of a
Closed, yeah, collaboration.
So you can go by and comment on those videos, though, and
Yes.
there'll be some prizes given out for
And they'll
that.
start posting in March. Yes, I think
Survival Seeds
Survival Seeds.
2025, hosted by VC Family Homestead. It's a gardening collaboration, and the Vineyard Chicks give you 6 free seeds for vegetables and 3 free seeds for herbs, and you just try to grow them. It's so easy. You get like 8 pack, I guess that'd be 9 packs of seeds for free, and you just show your little update videos of what you're doing, and you can win prizes for commenting on the videos and prizes for joining in the collaboration and making videos. So that's an awesome collaboration. I think everybody should be joining that. Even if you don't know anything at all about gardening, just join it, because you're going to get the free seeds. So you get to try gardening for free, and you get a chance to win stuff. So, hey, win-win.
Win-win. And then, of course, we have, what do we have in June? We have the meetup coming.
Yeah, Ozark Meetup 2025.
Yes. And that's going to be held at Homesteading Terrace State Park. And it's going to be June 6th through the 8th, hosted by Simply Jan Homestead and co-hosted by both Gail from Gail Southern Living and myself from another time, Lynda. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Gail go ahead and tell them what we're doing, some of the things we're doing.
I am going to be setting up a seed swap table. So anybody who wants to come to the Ozark meetup, bring some seeds, kind of package them up into your little seed packages, and, and tag them or whatever, and lay them out. And then you get to take back some seeds. So that sounds like a lot of fun to me. I mean, who doesn't want to get seeds? So I think that'll be fun. We're going to have karaoke. Lynda has a jam contest she's going to do. We're going to have some games like cornhole. What's the other one? Ladder ball, darts.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing food.
We're having lots of games, lots of fun. There'll be a seed swap table, and there'll be a giveaway table. There'll be a free table of free stuff that, it's like if we have excess of something or something you want to just donate, maybe you've had it sent to you by
maybe you want it, but you can't use it. Like you
exactly.
an apple core, and you're like, what am I going to do with this? I don't have an apple tree.
Yeah. So we're going to have a table for that.
You move it on the table, and somebody who has an apple tree that needs to, peel a bunch of apples will take it home with them and give it a good home.
Yes. And in the jam contest, please bring a couple of jars of jam, one for the tasting and one for the giveaway. Is that what it was? The giveaway?
Yeah. Thanks. So. Yeah.
And if you have others that you want to bring, that's fine too. Um, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. June 6th through the 8th. We're going to have potluck. And if you're interested in bringing food, please contact Gail at Gail Southern Living.
Yeah, I'm going to actually make a list and write down what people are bringing. I need to go through and work on that, where we don't end up with 50 bags of chips and 5 hamburger patties. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we're going to do basic hamburgers and hot dogs. So there's a lot of stuff that goes with that: baked beans, pasta salad,
Yeah.
macaroni salad.
And we're going to try to stick to beef hot dogs because some people don't eat pork and some people won't touch the pork hot dogs. And so not because they don't eat pork, but because of what's in them. So we're going to stick to beef or turkey or, whatever. And if you have something else that you want to bring to, beef hot dogs are the best. So we're doing those. Yeah, so make sure you contact Gail and we'll be talking some more about it every time we get a chance, because if you haven't got your reservation now, please contact them and get your reservation. We're going to do a dedicated video for the meetup probably pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, I know I already have a video or two out there and a playlist about hotels, yurts, different accommodations. If you're looking for accommodations, let me know. I'll be happy to screenshot that and send an email to you. Sorry, allergies.
It's okay. I understand.
So anyway, if you're wanting information about accommodations, you can contact me or Jan, and we'll email you or screenshot some information for you.
Bye, Suburban Billy. Thanks for coming.
Already reserved our RV spot there. So, and we've had 10 or 12 channels already signed up to come. So there are people coming.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited. We want to meet you all. Some of you we haven't met, and we'd love to meet you all.
Yeah, it would be fun. I can't wait. There's going to be some really cool people there. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blast.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be. And some really neat channels. I mean, there's some really neat channels. So I just love them all. I'm really excited.
Yep. I can't believe we get to meet Adrienne.
Yeah. I'm really excited to meet her.
I have met Kathleen before. So this will be my second time to get to see Kathleen.
Oh, well, that's awesome. If you have any questions about it, you can reach out to me too, because I can give you some information. And I can let Gail know what you want to bring as well. So you can reach out to me, reach out to Gail. We just figured we'd make it easier for Jan because she has a lot on her plate.
Yeah, we wanted to split up the duties so that Jan's not totally stressed out.
Yeah.
So, and do send some prayers for her and hubby for the situation they have going on right now. So
yes, please
they can do prayers for that. Yeah, definitely. Yep. I don't know how public she's been about that. Hopefully she's brought that information out. I don't know.
She did. She did on her live. She talked about him.
I wasn't sure. I opened my mouth and I was like, ooh, should I have said that or not? Yeah. Try not to give other people's information without their permission. That's kind of
she shared it on her live, I believe. But anyway, if you want more information, contact us. And we're grateful you came in today. And we're going to end it here. And I'm going to play a song. I don't know if I closed it out before. Just a minute. I played it for you, but you couldn't hear it. The one in the cabin in the cave. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Cabin in the Cave song.
I don't know, Lori. I haven't heard of any. I know Garden State Gardener talked about doing a meetup kind of up north, but it never actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we love you.
Missouri, Texas area, most of them.
And
Sorry.
I want, when you guys listen to this song, I don't want you to be sad, because it really is an uplifting song if you really think about it. So think of it that way, okay? I'm playing my Cabin in the Cave song. So.
In the shadow of the farm she laid his plans, with his dreams in her heart and tools in her hands. But fate was cruel and took him away, left her here in sorrow and dismay. I'll build this cabin in the cave, with tears and sweat, the pain I brave. Your memory guides each nail and beam. Our dream will live despite the seam. The days are cold, but I press on. With every stone a new dawn. You're gone, but I feel you near, whispering courage in my ear. I'll build this cabin in the cave, with tears and sweat, the pain I brave. Your memory guides each nail and beam. Our dream will live despite the seam. Day by day, plank by plank, even in sorrow I give thanks. For a mother's love, shared the plans we made. This cabin's walls will never fade. I built this cabin in the cave.
Okay, so
Tears and
I
sweat,
wanted to show you the
pain I
worked on it
brave.
today.
Your memory guides each nail and
Good morning. I'm back down here at the
your
cabin.
dream lives
You
on.
can see my ladder, and I'm going to crawl up there and
Despite the seam.